don't have a job to find. And if I were tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'd fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. If I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home.
Welcome, race fans. We're live here, back here, Daytona International Speedway, and I call it the epicenter here for NASCAR for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series in the Cup cars. That's right, the big boys. I call them the Monster Machines. Brought to you by Transervice here. Well, we got the Daytona Duels tonight, 60 laps of pure mayhem, and it's going to be awesome for the Sim500. Well, we're in the middle of practice right now. We got a few minutes here. Got a good guest up here in the booth with me tonight. Everybody knows who I am. Joe White up here, bringing stuff to you live here. But I got Joey Katina up here with me, one of the owners here at Sim500. Joey, how you doing?
Man, we are glad to be in Daytona and glad to start another year with OSRN and you, Joe.
Man, no doubt about it. And I tell you what, kicking off this year, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be long. And I guess we could use, grueling, I guess. But it's going to be a long, good season. We got a lot of good things. New sponsor here, new drivers, a couple new drivers anyway, a lot of familiar faces. Y'all had an awesome off-season there with the Joe Gibbs Racing series that y'all did. Was a phenomenal thing there. And I think this season, man, is going to be awesome. Got big prizes. Tell us a little bit about what's going to happen here.
Well, you mentioned it. Transervice Logistics Incorporated came on board this year. And, man, I'm going to tell you something. When you're at a sim racing level and you work as hard as Chad Cole, myself, and the other admins do here at this league to bring in a great sponsor like them, they're looking to get their brand out there and looking to bring in new hires. And it's a growing company. So, they have a reason to be here. So, and fortunately, they chose us. So we're excited. So we have a total of $1,000 being paid out over the season here in the Monday Night Money Series. We got some really cool changes to the season. Obviously, we talked about the Cup car. We originally started out last year with the Xfinity car. Then we rotated in the truck for the winter schedule, as most everybody probably watched. And now our ultimate goal is to bring the Cup car back to Monday night as the premier car, and we're here. So with that being said, some of the cool things we have going on is we're going to have an overall champion this year. He's going to take home a bunch of money. We're also going to have 3 segments, breaking it down into 12 race segments throughout the year. And there'll be a bonus money, $25 for the segment winner. So there'll be 10, there's a total of 12, so I don't want to confuse everybody, 12 races. We're going to take 10 on points. There's 1 drop, and your 12th race is going to be a bonus cash race, 4 drivers. So you're going to have actually 4 chase playoff final round racing for money this year. And when you get to Homestead, you'll have the 4 guys racing for the overall championship and then the 4 guys racing for the bonus money. So, man, we got excitement all over. We got bonus money for the gentleman. The driver finishes 17th in points and sticks with it throughout the end of the season. We got a lot going on, man.
Man, no doubt about it. Full cup and a full plate. How's that? That's a good word to use. Full plate coming in here, Sim500. It's the Monday Night Money Series here. And tonight, normally I have Harrison in the booth. I'm having another gentleman up here, but just kind of going through some drivers throughout this and that. I mean, we're in the middle of practice and watching these guys storm around Daytona. Love this place. It also brings about a little bit of nervousness because you're just inches upon guys out here. We got the duels tonight, and I believe it's next week. We go for the big series. Daytona kicks off the season. Really kicking it off tonight, but really kick off the season for the first race next week here at Daytona in the full style race. Kind of a preview to what we're going to see.
Yeah, and tonight actually is our 5th preseason Thunder event. Nick Cohan has won 3 of the 4 races, and then Anthony DeBarro went last week and dominated at Richmond. So tonight, you can say it a duel or a clash tonight, but tonight closes down our 5-race winner schedule. I don't think anything is going to happen, and no driver out here can beat what Cohan's done this year. He should easily take the winter preseason championship. It was pretty fun. We kind of last minute put that together, but he's had a hell of a year, and he's definitely going to be one of the drivers to watch this season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I tell you, it's going to be awesome, and a lot of great drivers, a lot of great talent out here. Well, I know you got another guy, man, that wants to talk a little bit because not only do we got a lot of things going on here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series and with the Cup cars. I'm used to saying truck so much. I'm going to get used to saying with the Cup cars here. But we also got, like you said, the title sponsor, Transervice, coming on board here for the season. Glenn Campbell, he's a man that works over there. Glenn, tell us a little bit about old Transervice.
Let me park this car. Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, we don't want you to wreck now.
You got to
Yeah.
learn how to bend with live radio or live broadcast, Glenn Campbell.
I don't do it very often, but I appreciate that. So yeah, I like to take a few words with Transervice. They came on board with Sim500, convinced them it was a good idea. There's a lot of great folks out here, and what Transervice does basically is we're a logistics maintenance provider. My particular division, we support the Walgreens product, and I'm sure there's Kroger. My basic thing for the Monday night series and Transervice is, it's a venue that we're looking for good technicians, we're looking for good drivers, we're looking for good logistics people all across the country. I just ask that that they go on to the Transervice website, take a look for a lot of career opportunities out there, and that's what we want to use this venue for. And there's a great bunch of guys that race with us, and I'm sure there's a great bunch of people who watch the broadcast. So we want to try to reach out to everybody, as many people as we can.
Well, no doubt. We're live here tonight, Twitch, YouTube, and on iRacing Live. We'll be all season long, so you're definitely going to get it out there to a lot of people. We got the logo stuck up there because we're Sim500 Monday Night Money. It's brought to you by Transervice, like we just said. It's Glenn Campbell here, man, works for that service. Tell us a little about it, and it's something we'll be talking about throughout the whole entire season. Transervice in particular, along with the great Monday night series here and all the prizes. It's something we're going to be. It's a full plate, like what Joey said a minute ago. It's a full plate, big series, big season. We got some big things, big names in here, and we got some big horsepower. What you think about your car tonight, Glenn?
Actually, as far as cars, feeling pretty good. I'm out there running around with Mike Kelly and his group, and was hanging right with them here lately. In the super speedways, I've been doing quite well. We had a little practice run yesterday in the Xfinity cars and finished third out of there's 20, probably 30 drivers. So I'm feeling really good about this season. Got some new equipment, got a new rig, got some new things, got 3 screens going. So I hope to put on a better show this year than I have in the past.
Man, no doubt about it. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, right there, you got it. Glenn Campbell, man, one of the main guys of Transervice, title sponsor here for the Monday Night Money Winter Series. Well, not one, excuse me. It was a Winter Series. Monday Night Money Cup Series. Got ahead of myself there for the Sim500. And I'm going to let him get back down there and maybe get some more practice on here. As I'm going to try to get through. We got Mike Kelly up here. Mike, you running tonight here in this awesome car?
Hey, what's up? Yes, I am.
Well, I'll tell you what, how's it feel out on the track so far?
Oh, it's Daytona. You go fast and turn left, pretty much.
Well, that's one way to put it. I've never heard it put that way, but all right.
Yeah, Mike's up here representing Turn 1 Heroes. Mike, we definitely want to thank you guys. You've been a great supporter of Sim500 and all of our series, and everything you've done on the admin side of things. But definitely want to give you the time to thank your sponsors and fans and everything else that goes along with Turn 1 Heroes.
Yep, I appreciate that. Enjoy running all the leagues here, pretty much. Run too many of them, I think the wife thinks. But we got a pretty good team put together for Monday night, I think. Nelson Rivera, who I've been teamed up with in the past, he's come on over. We finally got him to join up with us, and Scott Simley, and then myself. Stefan Marinak, I think he's joined up, and he's kind of like a Turn 1 hero. He hangs out with us, and Bobby, we don't know for sure what he's going to do yet. He's still him-hawing around the edges, but Nelson, Scott, and myself are definitely running for the championship in the 2 and the 12 and the 22 Fords, and don't really have any sponsorships or anything put together, but we're just going to be out there having fun on Monday nights, giving it all we got to win that big money.
Big money up on the line here. You're right. That's why we call it the Monday Night Money Series here, presented by Transervice. Had about 30 minutes out there in practice, but we're hitting the qualifying tonight for the Daytona Duels. Kind of just a practice style race for next week, and just kind of get these guys familiar with the car, familiar with everything out there. It's good to hear from you there, man, and well, good luck with this season out there, Mike.
Thanks a lot. It's going to be fun getting to see how everybody drives tonight and get tuned up for next week.
Absolutely. Well, what team speak? You down there in Team 500?
Yep, Turn 1 Heroes.
All right, good deal. Well, folks, I'll tell you what, right there you have it. I want to appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. So we're live here, YouTube, Twitch, and iRacing Live tonight. Got a couple of minutes here left in practice, and like we got, hopefully I pronounce it right, Corbin Street. Is that right?
Bingo.
All right, good deal. Well, welcome up here. I'm gonna take, man, that you got a bad fast hot rod for tonight. Didn't wreck it, did you?
Yeah, Corbin's representing a new team to Sim500. It's Boomtown Sim. Corbin, if you got a copy, definitely tell us a little bit about your team and everybody and what you got going on.
Yeah, thank you. Boomtown Sim's been around for 3-4 years. We're just finally getting the old boys back together. Mitch, Eye in the Sky, Jared, he's our spotter, Anthony DeBarro, and Sean Bounty. It's kind of the first time we've had these guys back together since early 2016, so we're really poised. We've had a lot of success with this lineup.
Well, we know you guys had a hell of a preseason. I know Joe and OSRN, the fans out there, didn't quite get to see everything, but we definitely know that your team is going to be right there battling for the championship. Anybody you guys want to thank or anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to thank MDR Designs coming on, sponsoring a bunch of our cars, and obviously painting them up. And I got to thank Mitch Rollo for putting together the effort to get this team back together.
Well, Joe, I know you may not know a lot about these guys, but I can promise you're going to be talking to them a bunch this season.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, we'll definitely talk to a lot of these drivers throughout. And it's a long season, and we'll definitely get through a lot of the teams. I'll get familiar with the team names, and like I say, name-wise, and work with me on it. My southern accent kind of messes up on me, a few of them.
Yeah, you should hear me trying to talk to Google. She never understands me.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. Well, looks like we got less than a minute here of practice, and we're going to get qualifying underway and get these boys, man, a storming around here at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, brought to you by Transervice. And I tell you, it's the kickoff here of the season tonight. We got the duels here at Daytona, chase, or it's actually a clash style race, if that's how you want to put it. Short kind of prelude into next week, though, when we do kick off the main season of the Daytona there. And that's going to be an awesome one here tonight. As we'll probably talk throughout some other drivers. And see, we got Nick down there. Maybe we should be able to get a couple minutes in, or a few things in before we get started.
Yeah, we got a few minutes, Joe, before we get going. I want to bring in, this is our man here, Nick Cohen, who dominated our preseason, and the leader of the Dizzy Motorsports group. So, Nick, want to welcome you first time, maybe with OSRN. Love having you here at Sim500. You want to talk a little bit about your team and thank the guys out there that makes it happen?
Yeah, thanks for having me up here. We got Dizzy Motorsports started back in 2013. I used to race in a couple other different leagues, and it kind of fell apart for a little while, and we went over to Steel Horse Racing for a little while, and this year decided to bring it back, and we got Tim Johnson on board and Brody, who was a part of it a while ago, so glad to have them two on board. We also have a couple other guys that are running in some other leagues, so that's kind of cool. But excited to be a part of Sim500 here. This seems like a really good league, and this winter portion of it, we've had some good success. I think we finished 1-2 at least 2 times, maybe 3, but at least 2 we had 1-2 finishes, so that was pretty cool. So, but also some clean driving. That's the most important thing. So.
Well, you're right there, Nick. And I remember watching you actually in the truck series, and you did phenomenal in that area right there. And I know you've had an awesome off season here, but doing the Joe Gibbs series over there, watched you guys there, awesome in that area. And like you said, this preseason here. Well, Joey's been talking you up, man. He said you've been dominating, so we'll see what you can do. You think you got the car tonight?
Well, I appreciate the talking up, but Daytona's, it's a wild card race. It's, I haven't had any success this week in other leagues at Daytona, so I'm hoping this is a turn of events, because just tore up every car I drove. So I don't like super speedway racing. I just get irritated pretty easily with strategy and over aggression and the wrecks. You can practice all you want and get taken out on lap 1 just because of one little mistake. So it's good for you guys and TV and broadcast and everything. It looks great, but inside it's not fun, and a lot of curse words are thrown inside the team channel. But we'll see. We got good teammates here, and we'll be working with another team today. So we're not just a 3-car team tonight. So we'll see what we can do strategy-wise, and see if we can be there at the end. That's the key. Is these 60 laps here, just being there at the end. So as long as we don't have any torn up fenders at the end here, I think we'll be okay.
And that's the key. Like you said, I always call Daytona and the plate track races here kind of wild card style races. Anything can happen at any given moment.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the leaderboard right now. Don Runkle's on the pole, so that tells you something.
Well, and you mentioned that too, and it's funny you mentioned that because obviously qualifying is important, don't get me wrong, but at this track it's not so much as important as it is maybe another track out there, because you can start from the back, the middle, heck, you can almost start in a grandstand if you wanted to, and pretty much bring it to the front here. And that's the thing I always harp on about the plate tracks. You got to have a little bit of luck here. I don't want to say it's not all about skill, but you do have to have a little bit of luck.
Yeah, you definitely need to have luck in super speedways. I mean, you can be the best at drafting here, but it's so hard to pass, you can't. It's not like real life where we can be 3 wide here, and the 3 lanes don't work here. So you really only have 2 lanes to choose from, and it just makes it hard to pass. You need to be in the right position at the right time. You need to avoid the wrecks, and you need to have the best strategy out of everybody. I mean, you just and the best strategy is just having the best luck, honestly, because there's no real strategy that is going to work out. You never know when the caution's going to come out. You never know when others are going to pit, or it's a stressful race, and it's luck is a huge factor in it.
Absolutely. Well, wish you luck out there, man.
Yeah, Nick, and we want to thank you so much for coming up. We're going to bring in Thomas J. George, who's actually going to jump in the booth and out of the race car tonight to give us a driver's perspective. Nick, I know we got a driver's meeting coming up, man. Wish you the best tonight, and it's kind of good hearing you may struggle a little bit at the super speedway. You might have a chance to win tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank CJ Automotive and Toyota and all my teammates at Dizzy Motorsports. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Nick. Joe, I got your sidekick for the tonight. One of the guys from Steel Horse Racing, one of the faster guys. So it's another driver that we're glad that's not in the field tonight, gives us a chance to win. But I'm going to turn this over to Thomas J. George. Thomas, thanks so much for being here. Joe, great job as always. Hopefully I'll talk to you on Victory Lane.
Oh, yeah, Joey, man, as always, appreciate it coming up here. Well, I'll tell you what, Thomas, man, we're here tonight. Sim500 Monday Night Money, presented by the Transervice here, the Duels, Clash, whichever one you want to call it, kind of a pre-season here to when we get set for next week at Daytona. And so, as a driver, what do you think we're going to see here tonight?
If I had to take a guess, you're going to see a lot of action. A lot of mistakes going to happen. You might probably see the big one at some point tonight. And I just think it's going to be one of those races where you're not sure who's really going to have a shot to win until maybe 10 laps to go. So Daytona's always unpredictable, and in my experience, it's the same way. I'm either up front or I get wrecked out. So it's just Daytona and Talladega, these play races. It's just always a gamble, but the ones that can survive it, they're always up front, know how to run with each other and have good teammates. They usually are pretty good to go.
Yeah, no doubt. Well said there. And I always say, like you just said, they're wild card races, and you just never know what's going to happen. We got a huge field, a lot of guys out here bad fast here, and I always say some bad fast drivers and some bad fast cars about to do some bad fast things, and a Monster Energy style to cup car out here on a virtual stage, iracing.com. And speaking of iRacing, want to appreciate a man tonight letting us be on the iRacing Live, as we are here live at OSR Network, bringing it to you YouTube, Twitch, and iRacing Live. Want to welcome everybody in tonight, tuning in, because we got the duels, kind of a little taste of what you're going to see for next Monday here when we bring the big Daytona race here to kick off the season of the Sim500 Monday Night Money series in the Cup car, presented by Transervice, and it's going to be a nice one. So we're in the qualifying. Looks like Sean Bounty is on top as of right now.
Yep, and then you got a couple of guys. He's always been really good at plate tracks. He's a very fast driver when it comes to these, and very fast everywhere we go. You got a couple other guys that I've raced with for a number of years. I got my teammate Steve Gottschalk in second, who's really become a very good plate racer as of late here. Must be that AccuForce wheel of his. And you got you got Jose Gonzalez, another very good driver in terms of plate racing. Nick Cohan, I've seen him. He's always up front when it comes to a race with him for many years. Chad Cole, why he's racing the 82, I have no clue. I'm so used to seeing him in the 8. But a lot of familiar faces in this field, and there's a lot of talent through it. I mean, it's just, when we say this is one of the more jam-packed fields in terms of talent, it's just top to bottom. Really
Absolutely.
good racers. And, I mean, any one of these guys can win. It's just one of those things, and I can't wait to get racing next week. Took this one off to help you out, but also leg was a little bit sore from today, so I said, you know what? Joe needs some help up there. It's always better to have 2 people in the booth than just yourself, you know?
Yeah. Normally Harrison's up here with me. He couldn't make it here tonight, and that's cool. And like I say, it's kind of a preseason thing, but he'll be here with me for the normal style season here, the rest of it. And like I said, it's good to have a driver's perspective up here. And you're gonna see, man. Once this thing kicks off, I love getting into that play-by-play mood. 'Cause I love the plate track stuff. 'Cause these boys are about to be side by side, nose to tail, and do some awesome things out here. Even though it's a virtual world, it is nerve-wracking to be behind the wheel of one of these machines. I've drove Daytona several times, and I got to take some medication after I'm done. I don't know about you.
If I'm honest with you, I find them very boring until about 20 laps to go. Usually, it's not even so much that. It's when, especially with my team, and if we have a ghost team working with us, there's a lot of communication that goes during the middle of this race, and obviously in the real world they can't do that anymore, but that doesn't stop the virtual world here in this iRacing. We're able to do that, and it's always communication. About first 20 laps or so, you're not really worried about it, but when you see the pit stops going to start occurring, whenever that may be, whether it be if we go green, you got to at least pit one time here. The max you can go is about 40 laps, so if it stays green or right around lap 30 to I would say lap 20 to lap 40. So when you're going to see a lot of varying strategies come into play, and on those teams that have worked together for a very long time, you're going to start seeing just that mix to get going and trying to get their best. Because with this particular draft model, it's very hard to pass. You got to time it just perfectly. You got to get the momentum right. If you're in the middle of the pack, it's very hard to go anywhere, just like it was for last year's Cup Series in real life.
Gotcha. Well, no, Abbott out there to answer your question. No, there's only one duel, 60 laps here tonight. It's actually a kind of I guess it's kind of like a clash style race, not really kind of like a duel race. That I saw the title saying duel up there, but looks like qualifying is over with, and we're going to actually get set here, man, to grid these boys up here tonight. And it's going to be awesome. Let's start with the qualifying order right there as you can see it, but I want to head us off into the gridding here right fast. As right now, the man on pole, let me get my button up. Man putting it on pole, Sean Bounty. On the front row right there, Steve Goschalk, you were just talking about him a minute ago, starting second. Third place, man, I call him Jose Gonzalez and Speedy Gonzalez. And he's definitely got something that's got a lot of speed. Starting at third, Nicholas Cohan, talked to him a little bit ago, starting fourth. Fifth place, man, Chad Cole. Starting in sixth, E.J. O'Rourke. You got seventh place, Chad Coleman. Eighth place, Anthony DeBarro. Hope I said that last name right for that. Starting in eighth. Good deal. Ninth place, Mitch Rollo. And then to round out the top 10, Nelson Riviera. As we look through the rest of this field, you said it earlier, Thomas, it is skill-based, and it is just a jammed-packed field full of nothing but talent out here.
It's basically that, and everybody talks about what this kind of racing is, and I refer to it always as a chess game at 200 miles an hour, because you're always constantly trying to position yourself to get to that front right at the very end. And if you can be one of these guys that's leading, especially the leader, in what seems to be the trend as of the last few years, where you see the leader blocking both lanes, trying to keep that momentum from game around him. And that's where it's going to, I think, could cause a lot of wrecks. There's a couple, in Daytona, you're never safe. In any play track, you're never really safe. But the problem areas always seem to be, from at least from my perspective, that tri-oval, which just narrows at the very start-finish line, could cause a massive problem. But then again, almost anything could. A little bit too much of a push going into one of the turns, or somebody getting arrow tight coming out of the corner. It's just, you got to get yourself in that right position. You got to be able to avoid these wrecks, and if you can do that, you get yourself a good chance to win.
Absolutely. Well said right there. You're right. Definitely got to put yourself in the right position at the right time. And I know I always get beat up a little bit by saying this because, you know, I feel like you got to have a lot of luck here at the plate tracks. But I don't look at them as skill-based tracks, unlike some of the others out there. Everybody goes, "What do you mean, Joe? You mean we got to have skill?" Well, yeah, but more or less you're wide open at these tracks, and you know you just, I don't know. It's not like hitting your braking points, hitting the turn in, and all that. It's more hang on and hope for the best.
I would agree with that assessment to about 90%. I think there is obviously a little bit of skill involved, you know, with especially if you don't want to get on somebody's back bumper and cause them to spin. You got to be able to blip the throttle or trail brake just enough to keep away from them, and then you got to do those same things to maybe, if you have a teammate behind you and he's losing the draft in the back of the pack, you got to come back and go get him, because if you lose the draft here, it's going to be very hard to get it back. So, well, I would say it's a mix. It is very luck-based, though, and you just got to use your brain more than so much your pedal there.
Yeah, and you're right there. Definitely well said and well put as we get set here to go green flag racing 60 laps here tonight. Short style race here at Daytona to kick off pretty much the season. This is kind of a duel, kind of a clash, so to speak, here for these guys, man, here at the Daytona.
Time to go racing at the World Center of Racing, I'd say.
Yep.
Pace car's about to pull off here.
Yep.
I'm excited. 2018 is going to come in a good style, I think.
Absolutely. Green flag in the air. We're back racing here, man, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series and the Cup cars. These boys come to life and bring these motors up, and you hear the thunder as they head off into turn one. They will be 2x2 for a while until they get this thing sorted out. But it's going to be an awesome one, as right now these guys, man, are stuck together side to side, coming out of two, storming down the backstretch.
And they're side by side almost all the way back to about 20th position there. Got Sean Bounty on the inside with help from Jose Gonzalez pushing him, with Steve Gottschalk and Nick Cohan bringing up the outside as EJ O'Rourke gets a little bit of a tap to Jose there, maybe a little side draft. But that 91-57, that's a combo that's worked very well in the past. Those two know each other very well, as I do, and they work really good together at these plate tracks. That is a two-team right there, two cars right there that I would keep an eye out for if they survive to the end of this race.
No doubt about it. And what we're watching right now is these guys still are locked together tight as they go 2-2 as they complete lap number 2 right there of 60 laps here. The man up front right now who is leading this way is that man Steve Gottschalk. He's got his nose out front. The problem is down low, Sean Powers on the inside. There's a slew of cars down the inside and several of them up high. And that's what we're going to see for right now, just for only for a moment. You're going to see them side to side. Normally with a Cup car, you get single file line after a while.
Yeah, the opening laps of almost any plate track in the Cup Series especially, they're thinking self-preservation until the very end if they can. Obviously right now it's starting to single out very slowly in the mid-pack there. I feel like it's going to happen here up front very soon as that high line, if it doesn't have enough people to help them out, as we see the 96 of Mitch Rollo jump to the outside, maybe give him a little bit more help. So there goes my point invalid now. He maybe wanted to go somewhere, but the best way you're going to be able to pass somebody is either on the outside or fake to the outside and get them on the inside. It's just, you're going to have to make that move just right, but, you know, good group of cars up front, probably not going to want to go too crazy until maybe halfway.
Absolutely. And the man out front right now, Sean, he's trying to power that Sprite machine, out front there. He's looking pretty good so far. He's got definitely a good helper there in Jose Gonzalez. And he's got actually a food truck out there. Talk with him. Kind of neat what he's got going on down there in the Puerto Rico area. But right now he is definitely tucked on the back tailgate. What I'm seeing though, what I always talk about, textbook drafting right now. Textbook drafting means basically, for some new guys out there, and I know that you know what I'm kind of talking about here when I say it, Thomas, is right now you see that they got about a foot or about a hood length off of each other. The reason being is, even though this is a virtual world, these guys can overheat these cars. Now, with 10 to go, forget about it. You're going to see these guys, man, put the bumper on the back end of somebody and push them for everything to work. But right now, though, just like in real life, patience, just watching what they're doing, and kind of keeping their distance right now.
That's right. And these guys, I mentioned it earlier. These guys, I've known a lot of these guys for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and it's the same with everybody else here. Everybody here, for the most part, knows each other. They know how they race. Some things have changed throughout, the last couple of years, but for the most part, they stay the same. And there's a certain trust factor with a lot of these guys here, and they know, hey, we can't get too close to such and such because he might have a bit of an issue with his connection, or hey, I'm not going to push this guy right now because it's just too early to get going. And everybody's thinking that same thing, and right now they just want that preservation. They want to be able to get to 30 to go, 20 to go, 10 to go. But as you get closer and closer to that checker flag, it's gonna ramp up immensely, and you're gonna see guys doing things that you wouldn't see right now. Making 3 wide moves, trying to go through the middle, unless you're Kyle Busch or something like that. But it just, as you can see in the back, it's kind of singled out, and then you got the double file back there. So it's kind of a mix, but for the most part, these guys are giving a lot of each other room here.
Absolutely, and up front you still got Sean Bounty down low, but they are still locked up high. You got probably about 4 or 5 machines up high trying to hold that high line. And normally what we see here in iRacing is very, very hard in a cup car in general, the Gen 6 machine here, to keep that high line going. You need help, but right now they're able to hold their own and muscle that machine up front there. Steve Goschart's got that 91 Nerf machine. And we look, the rest of the field's kind of single file, nose to tail here, content to try to run. Like you said, it's kind of just being patient. A lot of here guys, some guys opt to go to the back. That's their strategy. I want to welcome everybody out there. What's going on? Michael, Brandon, and Don Runkle. How you doing out there? Just name a few of you out there watching tonight. We're live here for the Daytona Duel. Start of the season here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, presented by Transervice. Cup car action here. A long season. I got Thomas up here, and he's part of the Steel Horse Racing gang, who, I'm going to tell you what, y'all got some fast guys down there. You got Jonathan Cadell and all that in there.
If he was here tonight, he'd be in this, and they would have an even better team as we see Jose jump to the outside. Looks like he wants to get a little bit of a push from Steve. Wants to get to the lead. The question is he going to have enough help? As you can see, that bottom lane's about 20 cars strong down single file, while these 4 are on the outside trying to make something work. It's not impossible to do it, but you have to be really good at side drafting. And even then, there's just not enough. I just don't think there's enough quite yet. It's basically like the Real World Cup Series from 2017 to 2016. Just, you don't have the line, you're not going to be able to do anything. Now, that being said, hopefully iRacing will get those physics from Sunday's race at the Clash, where it seemed like you could pass just about anywhere. But time will tell if we get that. For right now, these guys are going to have to race like it's last year, where you just need the help on the outside, and nobody's really wanting to do that right now.
Yeah, and you well said right there, but I've always said this too, Thomas, you don't need to pass the guy. You just got to get that bumper right in front of him to get the win. So you just need to get enough to get in front of him. And, speaking of that, we had a Daytona race just the other night. I'm going to tell you what, it was a thriller. That just happened right there. He won it by a foot. So you just don't need too much to see Jose Gonzalez. I call him Speedy Gonzalez, folks, because he's definitely got a bad, fast machine up there, and he knows how to roll. And that number 26, he's trying to get it to dropping off a little bit, and that's what you just spoke of, Thomas, right there. Definitely going to drop off right there. Yeah, a lot of them are just riding. You're right, Gerald. I mean, and that's what it is patience out here, and that's something you don't. I got to say it, and I got to chuckle when I say it, Thomas. Patience and iRacing sometimes don't go hand in hand. I think a lot of it has to do with because we are in a virtual world.
Well, it's just partial. It's that because you don't have to pay for the cars and you're not at risk, obviously. But some people just don't have the patience. They want to get to the front and they want to try and do something. And I can understand that. If you're riding up where Jose is and where Steve and Nick and EJ are, it's like, well, hey, we can go to the front and try and do something. But they don't have the power to do it right now. As you can see, just Sean Bounty, he's just continuing to lead. That pack, he's just keeping it on the O line. The rest of the pack behind him, they're on the bottom with him. They know this, and then you've got a single file almost all the way back to 30th there. It's just those 4 on the outside, they're riding there. Now maybe that's part of their strategy. They don't want to necessarily be on the bottom because they can check up in a quick hurry there. As you see AJ jump down now, so now it's only 3 cars. If that 3-car pack on the outside doesn't do something here soon, they may find themselves in the back of the pack, and that changes their entire race completely.
Absolutely, and we talk about that all the way back to the 31st position. Pretty much it's nose to tail. There's only like a 3, well, actually less than that, actually less than a second between the top 31 machines, or excuse me, about 3 seconds separate the top 31 machines. You got to go back to 32nd there with Bobby Terrell, Michael Prester. I hope I said that right. Is it Prester or Prester?
I don't even have the names listed up yet, so I'll figure it out later.
I'll just go with Michael. How's that? And then we got Don Runkle back there, Joe Hudson, Casey Campbell, Brian Wortman, and Nick Thamus.
Whoa, we almost had a bad wreck here. Oh boy.
Which one?
96 and the 5 there. Just somebody got a little tight on the apron. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. It looks like the 96, if I can find it right, got a little tight, or the 5. Nope, 96 out a little tight. Looks like a check up. The 41 hit the 5 there, but they kept going. But man, that just, oof. That was
well, you're right. That's how fast things can change here as we got we're going around this place. Even though they are being patient, hey, they are still running about 190 some, almost 200 mile an hour.
Oh yeah, and anything can happen. If you look, for those that were watching yesterday's race, Kyle Larson. I still don't know how Larson was able to save that car, but it just, in the blink of an eye, he's riding behind Ricky Stenhouse. Next thing you know, he's sliding down on the apron, Kyle Busch style, 200 miles an hour, and saved the car. And that's exactly what just happened there. Bottom lane checked up, somebody didn't check up quick enough, or somebody got tight, and almost had the big wreck on lap 13 of the race. Looks like Mitch Rollo's got a little bit of damage on that left rear corner panel. I don't see anything off of the 5 car. I'm not sure if the 41 got any damage, but they're carrying on. And
yeah,
but just in the blink of an eye, it can change just like that. Now you'll probably see something like, you'll see more aggressive racing like that as we get closer to the checkered here, but it doesn't matter. You're not safe here anywhere, so.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I'm sitting here watching Brian Boris Cook, and Brian Boris Cook, he is, folks, people out there that don't know, he is one of the social media guys for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's one of the helpers that actually put the Sim500, along with Joey Katina and Chad Cole and them, helped get together for this off season here in the past winter for the Joe Gibbs Racing Series. With the Sim500 was an associate style sponsor of that, and it was broadcasted over. Race Spot did it over there on the Joe Gibbs Facebook page. Y'all can go back and check out all the videos of that. It was an awesome series. But Brian Boris Cook out here, and as of right now, he's sitting in the 19th spot, just kind of content. It looks like pretty much the whole entire field right now is pretty content on just kind of running, as we're in a freight train. And that man Sean Bounty up front, the 82 Chad Cole, and that Transervice Machine title sponsor for the Monday Night Money Series here at the Sim500, sitting there in second, the 20th Chad Coleman. And you got Brody Hayes. Never heard of that name. He must be a new guy.
He's a new guy, but I've raced with him. Oh boy, they're changing up back there around 16th position, but they saved it, so didn't mean to cut you there. But no, I've raced with Brody last year in a bunch of races. He's a good guy, very clean racer, not overly aggressive, But again, I'm an aggressive person, so maybe he is aggressive. I'm just more aggressive on my passes, but. No, he's a good guy. He's just another quality driver in this series. There's a lot of quality guys here. And again, and like you said about Brian, big shout out to him for putting together that Joe Gibbs deal. I raced in a couple of races last year, and that was fun. Got to race against some of the Joe Gibbs guys, including Denny Hamlin, Ryan Priest, Christopher Bell, even Joe Gibbs' grandson Ty. So it was a fun little deal. I could, just to reiterate a funny little story, since we're all kind of single file for the moment. I'm a big Chase Elliott fan, so I was riding on Denny's. We were at Rockingham, and I was riding on Denny's back bumper there, and I'm just like, I'm holding myself back from just wanting to, I want to send him so bad, but it was but I decided, it's like, what? Better for the league not to do that. Don't want to do that kind of stuff. So but it's always fun to race against these real world NASCAR drivers, and real world drivers in general. I mean, you got, for anybody that wants to consider doing iRacing, I mean, we've gotten all kinds of guys. I've raced against Kyle Larson, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. I mean, it's just, they're out here with us, and they know it's as close to the real thing as you're going to get. So it's always a blast to come out here, and unfortunately, that does cause some tempers to flare, and I'm not going to say what exactly I say when I get mad, but a lot of people that know me know how I am when it comes to getting wrecked. So, but
No
I mean, it's all good.
Most drivers.
Oh yeah, it's all in good fun though. I mean, and I guarantee you, when the big one happens, somebody's going to be upset here tonight if it happens. But I'm assuming it's going to. Somebody's going to get upset that they cut them off or they checked up, and it's going to happen. It's not a points race, and it's practice for next week.
Well, the one thing I noticed here, and then by doing I did the winter series here, broadcasted that for the Monday Night Money winter series in the trucks. And by doing that, the one thing I did notice about here, and again, that's just pretty much just kind of textbook racing, I guess, in a nutshell, because we see it in real life, is the fact that right now we're all single file. The guys are being very respectful out there, very professional on what they do, very calm, cool, and collected. But 10 or 15 laps to go, I always say business picks up, and it's run what you brung at that point. And, normally what I saw was that's when, if we had cautions, that's usually when it came about.
Yeah, and it's not just going to be this race. It's going to be every race as we get closer to the cutoff point for the, well, I guess they don't call it the chase anymore, for the playoffs, if I'm correct. And you can tell I've been out of the loop. I just go out and race the damn thing. But, it's like, whether it's a playoff position or you're within 5 points of a points lead or something like that in a season-long battle, you're going to see guys throughout the season as the races wind down and, there's a possible chance to get the win and lock yourself in or win a championship in any way, shape, or form. You're going to see them do certain things, including myself. You're going to maybe gamble. You're going to, race just a little bit harder. You're not going to give as much room. And it's no different here than it is in any other track. But here, the danger is up, another 100%, because you're in such close quarters with everybody that if you make a mistake or if you try to make a move that's overly aggressive and it turns somebody, there's nowhere to go. I mean, that's where you see these 30-car wrecks come into play.
And I agree with you there. Right now, like I say, Sean Bounty, man up front, he is leading the way here for the first race here of the season. Actually, just a kind of a practice prelude style race here, clash, duel, either one you want to call it. Race for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, presented by Transervice here. Cup cars action. I call them the monster machines out here because they definitely have some big power to them and a lot of speed out here. Right now, it looks like a big locomotive train. The whole field here pretty much under blankets. You got to go back to 32nd position. And you take it back there, you got about 3 machines back there, starting with Bobby Terrell, Michael Priester. I'm going to call it Priester until we find out the other way. But Michael Priester back there, Don Runkle, Joe Hudson, Casey Campbell, Brian Wortman, and Nick Thamus all back there. And I was just thinking about Nick Thamus. He just went a lap down, just got past. We got one car out. That's Thomas George. Unfortunately, the night ended a little early here for him. Maybe we'll get set maybe going here. But we're at lap 22 of 60. And again, we were just talking about Thomas, these guys, I like getting a driver up here in the booth with me, because the one thing about it is how we see a race and how y'all see a race is 2 different things. I've always been asked this question every time I get I get done with a race. Well, Joe, what'd you think about that race? I thought it was great, exciting, good race. Joe, you're crazy. What is wrong with you? It's good, though, once a driver gets up here in the booth, they understand what we see, and just it's a different world from what we're up here in the booth as opposed to y'all being behind the wheel down there.
Well, when I'm behind the wheel, I can only give it from my perspective as far as, what I do. So, and I'm assuming that there's a lot of drivers that take it this way too. I mean, right now you see how everybody's calm and collected, single file. Well, we're on lap 23, coming to lap 24 now. So we're almost at the halfway point of this race. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, what's the pit strategy going to be? Because you got to make a pit stop. Once you get to 30 and you make your pit stop, you can get to the end. Now, that being said, the fuel mileage for this race is usually about 40 laps, and that's what it's always seemed to be for me. These guys could have pitted on lap 20, and they could go to the end. So this is where the not necessarily the emotions, but the tensions wind up. You know, you got to make sure you're ready to get on pit road, because now these tires are worn. They're almost 25 laps old. You got to be careful about speeding, and you kind of see just in any kind of race, you're always you're trying to settle in, and then as it starts to not necessarily wind down but progress through, you're always thinking, okay, what can I do to find a little bit faster speed? Obviously, at plate tracks, it doesn't necessarily work like that. You have to find the right draft. But if you go to any of these other tracks, you know, you're moving around, you're looking, trying to find the tires. As Jose goes to underneath the yellow line, something's going on with him. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage there. And now we're going. Yeah, he does actually. We got a little bit of 2x2 action. So again, now like I mentioned, as a driver, this is going to make me go, okay, what's our strategy now? You know, we got to get to the bottom if we're going to pit here in the next 5 laps to get to halfway. And then from then on, it's the same thing. You settle down, find a rhythm, and then as the laps do start to wind down, you want to think, okay, how am I going to get myself into position here? So even though we're not talking it or speaking it out loud, we're constantly thinking it in our heads, like, okay, what do I need to do here? What do I got to do to get to the front? And especially as the season winds down and championships on the line, the emotions start to go up a little bit more. Or if you're like me, where you haven't necessarily won a league race in a couple of years, either by just pure bad luck or getting wrecked or something like that, and you know you have a fast car and you get taken out, that's when the emotions come out. So it's just, there's a lot of guys that are the same way. Some of them haven't won for a while and they know they're fast and they feel the same way. Me, I take it a little bit harder because, you know, I'm putting a little bit time and effort into this, but I've kind of started to calm down as the years have gone by.
Yeah. Well, while you were saying that, watching Jose Gonzalez, looks like he might be having some connection issues there. He blinked a couple times, but he has fallen way off the pace, way back to 30th position. He got out of line, very respectful on that end, and that's another. I just can't keep reiterating that enough. You know, the respect factor of a lot of what we're seeing. Obviously, that goes out the window. Patience and everything else goes out the window as the closing laps go on, but you know, for him to get out of the way, understand that his car wasn't running up the speed, he had to watch what he's doing, and he got out of the way of the pack up there, dropped back to the back, and so forth. But what that did was back here with Glenn Campbell and them, and they're going to go side by side. Got 4 cars up there. The problem is they got no help, as that inside line is all stacked up in a huge pile, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold their own up front there. I just think those 4 cars are probably going to have to fall back all the way to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, and Jose's move, in retrospect, not only is respectful, it's a smart move, because you see this kind of action, and I'm almost willing to bet he's going to bank on a caution coming out here, because at some point, as we got cars coming to pit road, here comes the strategy play. Got a couple of cars here, we'll talk about that in a minute, as Nick slides the tires. Oh, man. But there's about... Let's see, you got the 91, 37, the 57, the 54, the 78. A lot of those guys know each other. They're working together, no doubt. Doug Roth. Oh, we got contact on pit road between the 8 and the 43. Looks like it's limitedly incidental, but the 43 does slide through his pit. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't get a caution, that's going to cost him the race. He really missed pit road, his pit stall there. So as we're going to have more coming on here this time by, Sean Boundy is declaring he's coming to pit road. The 22 is declaring he's coming to pit road. So now the strategy is coming into play. They can make it from here. The question is, who's going to get out in front of who first?
Yeah, and that's true. You got to get out there. You got to have a dancing partner. That's what we always talk about here as we're watching pit road here.
Oh, we got contact on pit road.
Who is it?
5 in the 96 teammates there. That's gonna man, the pit road. Like I said, it's never safe anywhere on this track. And from what I could tell, the 96 tried to slow down the 5 of DeBarro there. He was slowing down, but he just kept sliding the tires. Unfortunately, came right up into his teammate there, took out the 22, and the 22 was dang, but that's Daytona, man.
Well, we're watching the replay right here for the viewers. Let them see it. Because obviously we're on real time, and we'll let them see what happened. You're right. That 5, man, just contact and spun it around. The other guy went into the grass. Hate to see that on his end. Like you just said, coming hot and heavy into the pits. You got to get these things slowed down. I think it's, 60 mile an hour, 65, 60?
It's either 55 or 60. I
Yeah, it's
can't
one of those,
remember. I believe it's if I'm not remember, it's 55. But I mean, it doesn't matter 5 mile an hour difference or not. I mean, that's just
Yellow.
pit road here is treacherous.
Yellow flag. We got a huge one.
What we got?
Bobby Wetzel. He is all tore up the Napa know-how machine. Let's go back here on the replay, check, see what happened on that. And all these viewers. They're back there with the kind of old contact with the 84 and the 17. And then Bobby just nowhere to go. And the Tide machine all tore up. Like we were saying, bump drafting right there, a little bump drafting. And these cars are already wickedly out of loose. You know, it doesn't take much. And you go around, hate to see that's Casey Duncan. And the 17 machine, he was involved. Bobby Wetzel involved right there.
Chris.
First. Chris who? Yeah, Chris.
Chris Gabriel. Can't pronounce his last name. Sorry, Chris. The
I
Ricky
always say
Ruffin scheme is
Gaboo.
nice.
Yeah, I always say Gaboo. So
Yeah.
I know it's not. It's something else.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're terrible people for doing that. Obviously, we can't pronounce any names. So.
Hey, but you know what? I mean, I talk with the drivers about it afterwards, and I tell them, look, a southern accent gets in my way a lot of things, and I will get your name right. Just keep telling me over and over and over, and I definitely will get that thing right eventually. So, good thing is, got a lot of good drivers out here, very friendly and very helpful when it comes to stuff like that. But under caution for the first time here tonight, here at Daytona for the Sim500 presented by Transervice here, the duels at Daytona. Well, what this might get us to do here is to get a talk in with maybe a couple drivers and see what how the car's handling out there. And let's start off first. If I can't get Chad Cole up here, I can find him. There he is. Good deal. If I can move him up here, we'll get him in the waiting room first because he's coming down on pit road. I don't like messing with these guys while they're on pit road.
Yep, this is a crucial point here.
Yes.
But that caution will set up a lot of strategy. The guys that pitted a couple laps before Chad, they're going to go to the front there. The ones that stayed out are going to be mired back in traffic, unfortunately. But for a guy like Chad Cole and, Chad Coleman, I believe he's in the 20 this year. Yep, I'm right. They're very good drivers. They're obviously some of the best out there, and they can work their way through the traffic.
Yeah, as Chad's coming off pit roads, maybe we'll get up here. Like I say, I usually don't want to do an interview with them, but I don't mess with them on pit road. I've done that a couple times, and I know they're trying to get the timing marks right. But I'm going to bring them up here and let's get a talk in with them, see how that car's feeling. Chad Cole, still waiting in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
Doing good. I tell you what, under caution here the first time tonight here at Daytona. How's the car feeling out there?
Well, it felt pretty good being up at the front, I tell you. It was starting to get kind of tight there. I wasn't having to do a whole lot of lifting, though, being at the front behind Sean Bounty there. I imagine the guys behind me, they're going to be going a little bit faster and probably be even a little bit tighter. So going to be interesting to see where we sort out here.
Well, you got a nice looking paint job on there, the title sponsor, Transervice.
Yeah, we appreciate them coming on, so try to return the favor, give them a little airtime.
Well, absolutely. Looking good up there. So you think you got a car that might be able to pull this thing in victory lane?
Oh, well, we still got probably about 25 laps when we go back to green, so we'll see. We'll give it hell, though.
Give it a good shot out there. All right. Well, good luck out there, Chad.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, Thomas, I tell you what, right there, man, Chad Cole, he got that Transervice machine. He was looking good up there. He was running about second, third spot before the caution. And, obviously under caution here the first time at lap 33 of 60. We're already over halfway. Like what he just said there is what we were saying up here in the booth. Guys have been very patient. It's kind of riding right now. But, and I know, boy, that tension starts to build with about, usually I say 15 at a plate track, maybe 10, somewhere in that area. Normally it's about 25 at any other track, but plate tracks, it kind of takes a little longer to get around the track.
Yeah, now that we've gotten all the pit stops pretty much out of the way, if I'm right here, actually it looks like Chad might cycle back through to fit there. He may have been able to put some of those cars lap down. Can't. Well, we'll figure it out when we cycle back through, but now that we're past halfway and we're almost around 25 to go here, you're going to kind of start seeing things ramp up a little bit. Guys that were on pit road earlier, they realize, hey, you know, we got to figure something out here. We got to try and get to the front, and they're going to be trying different things. They're going to be moving the car a little bit around, trying to find that pocket of air that they can use to get to the car in front of them, maybe give them a shove. But it's just going to come down to, you know, like I've said it all night, broken record here, but you got to be in the right place at the right time. And if that means you're on the high side with 6 cars compared to 4 on the bottom, you got yourself a good position there. But it's, I'm not saying it's go time yet, but about another 10-15 laps it will be.
I have no doubt. Tell you, well, let's bring up another guy up here real quick since we're still on the caution. And it's a good thing about plate track races, and one thing, the cautions are long, it takes a while. But Mitch Rollo here. He's part of a newer team down there. We talked to the main guy, Corbin Hemstreet, earlier. Boomtown Sims. Let's bring up Mitch Rollo here and see how he's going, because I noticed he's going to be starting in 3rd. Mitch, Joe at the booth, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Mitch, I tell you what, new team, and I think it's a new series for you here. I noticed you're going to be up there in the 3rd place spot. How's the car feeling tonight?
Car's feeling pretty good. Gets a little tight on entry and exit, but overall it's not too bad. And all 3 of us Boomtown guys up here. Unfortunately, me and Anthony had a little run-in on pit road, but I mean, he'd be right up here with us too. So promising signs here in the first, or in the clash rather. I'm looking forward to this restart.
Absolutely. I tell you what, Mitch, well, just wanted to get you up here. We talked to you, one of your main guys down there, Corbin, earlier on before this race, and definitely is awesome. But hey, as always, good luck out there, Mitch.
Thanks.
All right. Thomas, lights are on, the pace car are off. We're getting set to go back green flag racing. It looks like you got a fan club out there, Thomas. Says Big K Com, I believe, I hope I said that right. Says, who gave Thomas George a microphone?
I was paid in rupees or something like that. I don't know. What can I say, man? I'm a very charming personality. Just don't piss me off.
Oh, man. You heard it first here, folks. Don't make him mad. Take it out on you on the track. So, well, man, I tell you what, it's been a very good race, and a lot of these drivers have been good. Pace cars coming out of turn 4 is going to duck off, take that hard left turn off on pit road, and let these guys and these monster machines take off. Well, Corbin with the Boomtown boys, he's up front. Sean Bounty's outside. Here we go. Green flag. They bring these monster machines to life here at Daytona as they head off into turn 1. And that man out front, don't get too much of a jump, or these guys will come by you like a freight train, and you'll be sitting still.
Looks like the 34 Sean Bounty is going to be working with Mitch there. He's got a little bit of damage on that left front there. I'm wondering if that's going to affect him as a pusher. It doesn't seem to be too bad as far when you have a big pack of cars like this, but any little bit of damage like that could play a factor in it. So he might be better pushing any of the cars in front of him to a position there, but if he gets out front, it might stack up everything. But it looks like front's kind of singling out a little bit, but heck, it won't be like that very long, I can guarantee you that.
No, absolutely not. Up top, Chad Coleman in that 20. He's got a little help with the 15 of Stefan right there. But like you said, that inside lane, they got a whole slew of machines as they're all nose to tail right there of Corbin out front. Sean Bounty sitting in 2nd with Mitch Rollo. So 2 teammates right there, 1 in 3rd place. And then you got to go to 4th place, man, Chad Cole up high. He's got side by side right there along with, man, we talked to a minute ago, Chad and Chad show. Chad Cole, Chad Coleman. Always kind of get them confused because, well, it's kind of unique.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, last name. Look
I
at
do
that.
too,
One's
don't
Cole
worry.
and one's Coleman. Say it real fast and you'll be like, huh?
Exactly. I'll tell you what, man. If you go back here around 28th, where Jose Gonzalez, Nick Cohan, can't even say EJ's name. What the hell's wrong with me? Got EJ, Steve Goschak, Rhett McBride, Don Runkle. They're all back there. They're trying to find their way to get back to the front. You know, that 57, 91, and the 41, 26 too. Yep. They were all up front, but now mired back in traffic. They're going to have to figure out a way to get there without putting themselves in too much danger. if I'm in this position, I almost just play and hope for the big one to come out and cold trickle that damn thing.
Well, and then the bad thing too about it is, at some point here, and the thing about plate tracks, we talked about it earlier, was sometimes you're just stuck. You're just there riding. No matter what you do, you can't. Like you said, they're trying to get to the front. And the problem is, the car just won't do it. It's actually like it's just stuck. You're there riding, but we'll see business pick up here shortly as the outside lane. Got a little damage back there, but everybody's single file. You still got Chad Coleman up there on the top side of the 20. He's trying to hang on to it, but he's got nowhere to go. He can't get in the line down low. I just see a lot of guys, man, side by side. And, oh, yeah, he says, this is Justin, by the way, Thomas, so that you would know.
Yeah, I know who he is. I know who he's talking about.
All right, cool deal. All right.
Hey, what's up, Justin?
Hey, that's another thing, man. I want to appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the race so far, but it's been a really good one. Guys have been very patient here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series presented by Transervice here for the Daytona Duel Clash race to start the season off. And obviously, it's going to give us a little helper here for the next week for Daytona.
Yep, and I think it's just going to be the same way as it is in this one. You're going to see a lot of single. I want to say it's going to be action, but it just seems like as of late that every race at Daytona or Talladega has come down single file for the last 15 or so laps, and then they wait till the last lap, which with this draft model, you just can't really do that. You got to start making that way up to the front or getting past those cars in any way, shape, or form you can, and you got to do that for 10 laps before just to get the momentum. It's not like the old two-car tango from about 4, 5, 6 years ago where you had two people and then just switch back and forth, which I actually enjoyed doing that because you felt like you could move around and do stuff. With this particular package and the Cup car especially, it's just not, like you said, you're basically just stuck.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
I was going to say, with the Xfinity car and the truck, you can at least kind of push and do that. But this it's almost like you just suck up to them and then that's it. You're not going anywhere. So these guys back here that were running up front or trying to get to the front that have been back all race, they're kind of, they're just, right now they're hoping for something to happen to go their way. But, with less than 20 laps to go here, it's not looking good. But crazier things have happened at Daytona.
Absolutely. 4 cars up high. Chad Coleman still pushing that train up on the high side. And he's hanging on. He's got some helpers now. Some guys coming along with him. But we did see a pass for the lead up there. Sean Bounty did make that 34 machine and went around the man of Corbin up there. So he made a move to the high side and was able to get around. As you see the 20s just trying to get up there. And folks, like we said, you don't have to pass to win. Just got to get that bumper out there. And I think Chad understands. If I get just a little bit of push, what we're starting to see now at lap 42 of 60, we got 18 to go. We're starting to see, man, these guys get an awful lot more racier than what they were.
Yeah, you guys see Chad right there. He got that nice little bit of momentum off the corner. See if he can side draft him there as the two of Mike Kelly goes down below. That's going to hurt that right there. Right, they were side by side, 4 deep there. That's all these guys are waiting for. That's what I'm thinking. If I had to guess what the 20 is thinking right now, he's trying to stay on that high side and put himself in that position, just at 200 miles an hour. He's trying to hold that position so that way somebody or a couple people can come up to the high side, push into the lead, and then just hope he can hold on to it. I mean, it's just, but you see it's single file again. You only got 3 cars on the outside, so it's just, they're not willing to go yet. And at some point they got to, if they want to make that lead happen. They got to, but who knows if they're going to do it.
Yeah, like I just said, it's a matter of just when as opposed to, I guess, where or any other type thing we could bring up. Who's in the back there? Steve Gottschalk. Well, he is way back in 29th position. I think his pit stop didn't go the way he wanted. Boy, contact between the 54 and 32 as they take it 3 wide. And that looks like the 32 back there. I believe he's going to get dropped off. It might be the 83. I'm looking at the wrong number, but he's going to actually fall back to the back as those guys there are racing pretty hard in the back of the pack. And they still up front here will go side by side as they go past the lap machine back there. A couple lap machines up front. You still got Chad Cole. He just has no helpers, no takers up top. Like I said, so I think as we come around here, head for lap 15 to go in this one, It's just a matter of who's going to step out there and try to take a gamble at that high line.
Oh, yeah, and Chad Coleman, he's working with Stefan Marinak there in the 15, and you can see, if you look closely enough, every time they get into that corner, he's side drafting, just getting as close as he can to the car on the inside there. Right now it's the 96 of Mitch Rollo, just trying to suck that air up, but just with only 2 cars on the outside and everybody on the inside lining up, he's just not able to make the progress. But he's holding his own, which is a good thing. But the only thing is it's going to be who's going to jump on the outside in front of Coleman there.
Yeah.
And the other question is, will the 20 get too close to the 96 or the 12 or whoever's on his inside side drafting and possibly cause the big one to happen, as we see him go by the lap car of Bobby Wetzel, I believe, in the 9.
Yep.
And that's another thing. You got damaged cars out there. When are you going to catch them? And now the 20 is all by himself.
Sitting up.
Yep, that may have just been his race right there, unless somebody jumps out, because he has got no... Oh, we got a wreck in the back.
Yellow flag out. Steve Goschalk involved, I think. Well, no, he got out of that one. The 37 machine, Brody Hayes. Hard damage in the wall. Let's go back on the replay and see what happened here for the viewers.
Oh, somebody came down and turned him. Oh,
yeah. Let's watch this replay here. So we got the 37. You're right. Looks like I think that's the 42 machine. He looked like he might have thought it'd been cleared. Came down, like I said, just clipped the rear and hard in the wall for the 37 there for Brody.
I didn't know Kyle Larson was racing in this. It's the same thing yesterday.
Absolutely. And, you know, sometimes, man, it's awful good that we're in the virtual world, because a hit like that, wow, that would hurt me.
Reminiscent of Austin Dillon's wreck in 2015. You see it and you think, oh my God, is he okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that is the beauty of this sim, is just you can race online. You don't have to worry about hurting yourself, other than, you know, maybe sitting in a chair for too long or something like that if you do like 24 hours of Daytona. But I mean, that regardless, when that happens, I could tell, you know, I'll tell you how I would have reacted in that scenario. Dang it, and then just say, oh well. I mean, it's plate racing, you know. You got that. It's just plate racing. You know, you see somebody come down like that. They're trying to get to the inside, and it just wasn't clear. So
yeah, and you talk about it sometimes. You know, things happen so quickly, and in a case like that, you know, you really just can't put fault on really either driver there. I mean, yeah, I guess if you say, well, he shouldn't have came down onto me and he should have stayed up. Well, as fast as the momentum as Brody was going, he probably thought he could have had it clear by the time he came down. It's just one of them just split-second reactions. Timing. Really, that's all it comes down to is timing.
Yep, and it happened to me and Bobby Wetzel in the truck race through the Joe Gibbs Winter Series. I was in the tri-oval. I came up a little bit. He came down a little bit, and you know, more or less we agreed to disagree who was at fault. We just kind of said, you know what, it's plate racing. You know, he thought I was at fault. I thought he was at fault. And we just said, you know what, it's just better to go on to the next race, more or less. And that's Daytona. It can happen in the blink of an eye. But I'll tell you, it's bad luck for Brody Hayes, but it's a good break for the 20 there of Chad Coleman, because remember, he was on the outside when that caution was coming out with no draft help, and now he's basically got a second life there. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see what he does and if he can get any help or anybody else here that's in a good position. But we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Sean Bounty's still out front here with Corbin right there behind him. Mitch, he got a couple teammates right there. The second, third place, Chad Coleman. He was able to get back in line. He maintained. That caution kind of probably helped him out tremendously there as he dropped back in the fourth place spot. Scott Simley, I call him Scott Smiley. Man, it's just first time I ever saw his name, I said Smiley, and I said no, it's Simley. But man, smiling because right now he's in fifth place. And Stefan Marinaki's right there in sixth. Mike Kelly seventh. Glenn Campbell in eighth. Joey Gattina rounding up in the ninth, and Rick Thompson rounds the top 10 out here so far. And we've still got 38 machines of the 39 that started this field running out here, and we got a couple of them in a lap down. Casey Campbell, Jonathan Lockhart, Brody Hayes, who just got involved and heavily tore up. I got a feeling he's probably going to be done for the night. But he's one lap down. Bobby Wetzel lap down. 2 laps down, Casey Duncan. 1 car out of the field, Thomas George right now. Well, that's you here in the booth with me. So really we only had 38 start tonight, so really actually everybody running, but I got a feeling probably Brody might be done after that lick. That was a pretty heavy impact onto the wall.
Yeah, that more or less destroyed the engine just from looking at it. And then again, it's a practice race. If this was next week, if he didn't have that much damage, he'd probably come back down and try to get for points, because any amount, I mean, you go back to look at the 97 Daytona 500, Dale Earnhardt coming out and just driving around a beat up, crumpled in number 3 Chevy, and that's the importance of points. Even if, in a playoff scenario, even if you don't win in the regular season, you can race your way in on points, and that might be the case next week, where we'll see some drivers come out and just try and make some points up, regardless of whether or not they want to run at 170 or something like that at Daytona, because that is torture, but it's points on the line. And that being said, now I'm very surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. I will say it's been calm for the most part this race. Little hiccups here and there of a quick little action, and then everybody's been respectful. So
yes,
I'm wondering how this is going to play out. I don't want to say the big one will happen. I don't want to say it won't happen. If it doesn't happen, that'll be a great thing, because you'll get to see a race to the end.
Yep.
But the way that these drivers are going to probably start ramping up to get that win. I mean, anything's possible. That's all I got.
Yep. I mean, and then you talk about it. Usually, I always say it's not if it's going to happen; it's when it happens. And but tonight it's been pretty good. Hopefully, it does not. With as short as this race is, 60 laps here, kind of a preseason style race. The duels chase race here for Daytona for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series here. It's presented by Transervice. As we get set here to line these guys back up, watch Joey Katina. He started back at 24th position. He's up to 9th right now, looking very good there. And that number 4 machine is now back to 9th and 10th. It looks like we got a car off the pace here, but everybody's kind of getting back up. We're getting back here, and usually would say pull the belts tight. If you got belts in your rig, go for it. I always say pull your fasten your seatbelt in your recliner. And if you got that, please send me a picture. Yeah, send me a picture of that, because I want to know why you got a seatbelt in your recliner. 2, I just like to see it.
Listen, man, there's recliners with toilets in them, so anything's possible.
There you go, absolutely. And if you need a seatbelt for your toilet, then wow, that would be a story I'd like to hear. But either way, for another day.
It's out there somewhere.
It's out there, absolutely. Oh man, I tell you. Well, it's been a good race so far, and we're going to have 9 laps to go here tonight, as we're at lap 50 of 60 when they cross that line to go green flag racing again here. And these are the big boys here, the Sim500. I mean, it is a star-studded field out here. We're not short on skill all the way from the front to the back. As pace car comes out of turn 4, we'll take that hard left turn off on pit road. And that man, Sean Bounty, who has been in control of it all night long. But I know he's got a bounty on his head. He's got about 30-some other drivers out there that would love to take that top spot away from him. Green flag's in the air. We're back racing here at Daytona as he gets a good jump in that 34 machine, Sean does. Corbin's going to drop down the inside, and they're going to take it nose to tail, heading off into 1.
Yep. The 69 of Corbin Hemstreet with the 96 of Mitch Rollo. Teammates obviously working with Bounty, who they've also known for a long time, as Chad Coleman once again left on the outside with no help there. The 12 is going to take the number 4 spot. The 15 of Stefan Marinak following on through with the 2 right behind him. There is no more give. It's all take. They're not going to help that 20. They know, hey, this is position. We have less than 10 laps to go. We're not going to help you there. We're going to try and take advantage of that high side ourselves. It's game on for everybody.
And the good thing about the 20 is he could have help in the form of Chad Cole right there, who has a storm of cars up there with him. Now, a few of them may drop down low, but he has some help up there if they can get up there and lock onto the back bumper.
They're jumping to the outside now, trying to make that high line work. I said it, they got to make it work as soon as they can, but the question is, are they going to have enough help on there? Do you look at see the 76 of Rick Thompson there? He's taking the lone lane. He doesn't want to go up there with them. If I was him, I'd go with them until the 20. The 20's jumping to the outside now. Looks like he's going to jump out, try to get some air, but he's going to... Is he
Well,
gonna
you
stay?
got to look. He's got damage. Looks like the man right there, which you was just talking about, we're riding along with Mitch here, who was staying down low in the 96. He's got damage on the front end. One thing about that, as long as he stays tucked up behind another car, shouldn't hurt him too bad. But if he gets out there by himself, it'd be like a brick wall. Now you can see that inside lane snaking around. He's got 3 cars up high. Here comes the 12 machine. That's Scott Simley. I said he's smiling, and he's definitely smiling. He's got horsepower and got that pedal stuck all the way to the front of that car, and he's trying to bring it to the front.
He's put himself in position to win this race. Simley, a very smart racer, knows what he's doing. He's got himself in position to get the win if he can get some help on the outside. But the problem is that inside lane just got too many cars to work with right now. Now the question is going to be, does a 69 push a 34 all the way around until the very last lap, or does he jump out, which could also help the 12 car? It's a chess game here. I've said it again and again. It's a chess game. The 15 goes low, so is the 2. The 12 has now been left out to dry. That is probably his chance, unless he can tuck into the inside right here. But I just don't think he's got enough room yet.
You know, you talk about the actual 69. The good thing about it is he has an actual partner. He has a teammate, a Mitch, right there, who is actually in it. But everybody goes back single file. They tried the outside for a little bit, maybe just testing the waters here with 6 to go. And I always like to say 2 things to keep in mind, folks out there. Obviously, the last lap, that ends it. 5 to go if a caution comes out. That's pretty much going to put an end to it. As we're going to cross that line here, it's going to be about 5 to go this next time by. Has anybody got anything for that 34 machine of Sean out front?
It all depends on who makes the move and when. You can see it's single file almost all the way back to 20th there, and it's so hard to make a pass here, and I think everybody's just content to ride single file until the very end and then try and make the move. But me personally, I don't think that's the right move to do. But if you're in a position of the 12 or the 15 or the 2 or the 20 on back, and you know you want to try and win, the problem is you jump to the outside, you don't know who's coming with you and who's not. If you have 4 teammates behind you, oh yeah, they're going to jump with you out there, no problem. But just because you got teammates, they may not jump out with you. If you don't got any teammates, chances are they're not going to.
Well, right now we got Chad Cole and company in the back here. They tried to high line themselves. Now they tucked back in, got it all single file, but they made some moves, was able to get about 4 or 5 machines to work that high line and get it going, as we see a couple more in the backside there. These guys are trying to test the waters a little bit. See who's going to go with them with 5 to go here at Daytona. It's almost shaping up like it was with the clash that we just saw. Now, who's going to step out of line first? Who's going to do what? Is it going to come down to the last lap? The 20's been the one man who has tested that outside lane, but just nobody will go with him up there.
Yeah, he's always been one to go for, as we've seen the 99 now jump to the outside, but who's going to go with him? Is anybody going to follow? It's just nobody wants to go because they don't know who's going to go with them. It's the same thing, and now you're seeing the top 4 cars pull away from each other because of this. Nobody wants to work together, and it's just the reality of this particular package that we have for Aero Draft here at Daytona. And now, with just less than 5 laps to go, it looks like it's a 4-way race between Boundy, Hemstreet, Rollo, and Thompson. Now, 12's coming back with the 15 on his back bumper, but so my point is once again negated. But those 3 at least have held that front for most of this race, and I just don't see them making any sudden moves until the very end coming out of turn 4, which I think is going to be too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got some outside takers here. Here we go.
Yeah, you got some guys wanting to do it. That's Scott Simley. He's going to bring it to the outside lane in that number 12 machine. He's going to try to see if he can't get a pack of cars to come along with him. It's just been who's who. He's got a few of them there. If he can get up there, he might be able to battle it out. Again, don't have to pass. He's just got to get up there and just go side by side with them just a little bit. As right now, he's got 3, but the problem is that inside lane's got a slew of machines there. As Sean Bounty hears, we're going to come around. They're going to take it with 2 laps to go as they cross the line here soon, here tonight at Daytona.
Yep, and Boundy has been up front all night. He set the pole, tied with Steve Gottschalk actually with the same exact time, so they went to whatever increments they go to at that point to settle the pole. But he has been the control car all night long. He's had help from the 2 guys from behind him. They have worked together all night long. and they're just holding that tide. They're not letting anybody back there. And sooner or later, the rest of these guys are going to have to decide, what do we want to do here? You've got less than 2 laps, basically. You need to decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to do it now, or are you going to do it to the last lap? And, well, I couldn't tell you at this point.
No doubt about it. As they storm off down the backstretch, it's going to be one more time. He'll get the white flag, and we're going to see if anybody can make that high line work. Can he step out there? Is Corbin going to take his teammate to 96? Will they be able to team up and try to take it to the outside? Or will they take it to the outside? I mean, if they do, they got to understand somebody behind him might not. Is right there, the 2 machine. That's Mike Kelly. He's looking up high here. Final lap one more time around Daytona.
As they go into turn 2, the 2 is, oh man, he is just dropped off like a rock. It is no longer his race to win. The 34 is still controlling it, coming off of turn 2. 69 in tow with the 96. The 76, are they going to make the move? Are they going to wait till turn 4? They're single file. They just can't seem to get the draft there. They're going to have to try one more time going into turn 3.
Turn 3 for the final time here tonight at Daytona for the duels here. Sim500 Monday Night Money Series presented by Transervice. Sean Bounty comes out of turn 4. Is anybody going to be able to go on the outside? Here we go. Corbin goes high. There's going to be a drag race to the line, but Sean Bounty's going to pull it off. Sean Bounty pulled this one off here tonight. Awesome finish to the race.
I can't believe the big one did not happen. That's the only thing I got left. That's a great Daytona finish. I mean, 2 teammates tried to do it. 96 said, you know what, I'm going to try to win it on the bottom coming into the tri-oval. Just didn't have enough momentum. 34 did everything he needed to do. Sat on the pole, controlled the race for most of it, and that's play racing art right there. That's all I got. It's just
I'll go back and watch the replay on it there just to let the viewer see it again and just see how close it was coming to the line. And pretty much that's how it's going to set up next week here at Daytona. It'll be a very, very interesting race, man, as we come here. Well, that was awesome here tonight. The duels here, that's what we're going to call it. Sim500, and that man, Sean Bounty, pulling off the win here tonight. Winner. And I my hat's off to him. I mean, that's definitely an awesome feat. Coming to the line there in a split second. So we're going to get some interviews up here. We can't get old Sean and all these guys.
It was a credit to all the drivers too. I mean,
Absolutely.
Only a handful of wrecks, and none of them were big. That's just, I don't know if that's so much a product of the car itself, but I mean, just very good, respectful racing, and no big wreck. That's a rarity at Daytona these days.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate it out there. Cool. Definitely, man. And, definitely tune in. We got some other ones as Corbin's going to finish this one out here in second. Oh, and his teammate there is going to be in third. I know they're going to be happy about it right there. Old Boomtown Motorsports, or Boomtown Sim, to come up in here and get a third place finish. They tried to get it up there. Let's get some guys up here. And Thomas, I'll let you get the third and second place driver here.
10-4.
Get them ready here right fast. Let's bring up the third place man. That would be Mitch Rollo here, third place man from Boomtown Sim. Let's bring him up, finishing this thing out here in third tonight.
Hey Mitch, it's your old friend there, Thomas J. George, and congrats on the third place finish, man. How'd you do it?
A lot of teamwork. I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without them guys, and unfortunately Anthony and me got into it on pit road there earlier in the race. But I'm just happy we're up front and running up there, and it should be a good season.
Yeah, we saw that happen on pit road. I'm guessing your buddy there, Anthony DeBar, your teammate, just came in a little too hot and just caused a little bit of damage on your left front. We saw it was on the car. Did that have any real effect on the handling of it? It just couldn't push necessarily, or did you not even feel anything from it?
Honestly, the car didn't suck up quite as good as it was before the damage, but other than that, it drove fine and it turned fine. Everything was good there. But as far as the incident goes, it was just I went down a little bit. Anthony came up a little bit. It was just one of them racing deals. It's it's not going to be the death of us, that's for sure. So
Yeah, it's Daytona. It's nothing you can really do about it. But I gotta say, it's a good finish, good start for the season for your 96 Chevy there. Very nice paint scheme, by the way. And other than that, I can't really think of any other questions other than who do you want to thank and give a shout out to any sponsors or anything like that.
Well, I gotta thank my teammates at Boomtown Sim, Sean, Corbin, and Anthony. We all came back together this year after a year off last year. And it's really good to be back as a team, and as well as our team crew chief, Jared Como, couldn't make it tonight, but he'll be here starting next week. And so with him back, we'll be even better. And I'm just looking forward to the season.
Well, 10-4, man. Good start to the season, and good luck to the rest of the year.
Thanks, Thomas.
All right, Thomas, right there. Third place man Mitch Rollo did a fine job here tonight, and his team out there. Can you get him back down to the Boomtown Sim boys? Well, let's bring up the second place man here, Corbin. He tried everything he could do to try to get past Sean here. Just was a couple feet short, but he's the other man there in the Boomtown Sim team. Let's bring him up, second place driver, Corbin.
And I got Corbin right here. Corbin, Thomas George here interviewing with you today. And I know that's probably not the best thing you want to hear, but little joke. But so almost got the win there over your teammate there, Sean Boundy. And I gotta say, you three up there controlled this race all the way through, and just I can't say, I don't think you had any damage from what I could tell, but then again, my view is not the best anymore. But as far as the strategy of the race, when everything kind of fell together, did you know that you had to control basically everybody behind you, like these plate races seem to go?
Well, you know as well as us, Thomas, it all comes down to strategy with these races. Sean made the call to take 2 tires there, and we pitted, and we never looked back from there. Caution came out at the perfect time, and from there it was just holding on the restarts mostly. I sure wish the top line came in a little better than it did, but I think it played to us winning, just being able to hold nose to tail. Would have loved to get their victory lane, but pushing Sean up was pretty great.
Yeah, I've had to do that with a few of my teammates from time to time. It's always a good feeling, though. Now Mitch talked about the left front damage. It didn't seem to affect him too much, but it seems to be a problem with these cars in this draft package where it just does not suck up like it should be. Was that the case here tonight, or did it just feel a little bit better or worse?
Well, it seemed like it was sucking up slower than usual, but it takes a little getting used to, and then it's just what you're dealing with. Everybody's running the same thing, so I don't know. Mitch seemed like he was sucking up okay. I don't know if the damage was affecting him. I think he slammed into Navarro getting on pit road, but something to work on for the 500. Overall, if pushing Sean to the win here gets me some credits to get pushed to the Daytona 500 win, it's worth it.
Yeah, there you go. Teammates got to work together sometimes, but but otherwise, a great finish, a great start to the season, even though it's a pre-race, but still a duel, and it's going to probably, no doubt, carry momentum for you and your team over there. Anybody you want to thank? Shout out, sponsors, any of that good stuff?
Yeah, momentum's great. Got to thank MDR for jumping on the car, making our cars look awesome out there. We want to keep them out front. It's where they look the best. So hopefully we do a lot more of that this season. Thank you.
10-4 on that. Good run tonight. Good luck on the rest of your season.
Appreciate it.
All right, the second place man right there, Corbin. He tried everything he could to actually get himself a win here tonight. Just a little bit short here. Well, let's go down to victory lane. As I know, I got one guy, he dominated pretty much the whole entire event here tonight, and that man would actually be Sean Bounty, and he definitely had a bounty on his head all night long. Sean, it's Joe White in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I'll tell you, man, you had a bad fast number 37 machine out there. You must have been drinking a lot of Sprite while you was going around that track, because you had a lot of just driving out front.
Yeah, I actually got a bottle of Sprite in every single race, and it just dawned on me, let's put that on the car.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit how that race, man, looked for you.
Well, it looked like I was the only car on the track, unless I looked up in the mirror most of the time. But it was an interesting draft package. In practice, it seemed like we can get two lines going, sometimes 3 wide. But once you got the entire field together in the race, that was not the case, and it really showed that getting that pole was probably the most deciding factor in this race. And you got to give a lot of credit to everyone out here that you don't get very much opportunity, and with a package like this, every little inch matters, and everybody stayed on their game, and we got through most of this race pretty cleanly. I'm sure there's a lot of guys back there getting a little antsy and getting a little bored, not being able to do anything. There was some guys I can hear over the radio how the driving was, but for the most part, hold the line. And when we got through, we spent 10 laps talking about that pit stop, when to go, how much to take, what to take, and I really felt like they put the decision in my hands with my team, Corbin and Mitch and Anthony there, that I wanted to get 2 tires, get out there as fast as we could. As soon as the first couple guys went, we went. And after that, the real deciding factor of this race came down to when that caution came in the middle of the pit cycles. That caution allowed us to get back out onto the track before the first group that pitted and before the leader, and we took off and just stayed in control from the restart, and that caution was absolutely vital. Otherwise, the first group would have passed us, and we would have been contending with the leaders, and whether or not we would have had to take a wave around.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, definitely that caution came out good for you right there. Well, I gotta ask, we're done with the preseason here, the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series presented by Transervice. We head off to Daytona next week, starting to really kick the season off then. How does the momentum feel, learning from tonight, putting it in victory lane, going into next week to the fight, for our Daytona race?
Well, the momentum's great. It's preseason, but it's my first win in the series. That might be my first pole in the series. But I love these plate tracks. I know they're going to work really hard over the week and see if we can get some more competitive racing going. So hopefully that translates, because I'd love to race these guys too. As awesome as it feels, I want to get out there and race these guys a little bit more, and put on a bit of a better show for you guys, because I know that we got the guys in this series to do it, and it's going to be fun.
Well, you definitely got a lot of talent out there, and again, want to congratulate you because you put it in victory lane here. Final race of the preseason here for the duels tonight here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series presented by Transervice. Got anybody want you to thank out there, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. I'll just start with the basics. My parents let me do this. They don't bother me while I'm in here 24/7 practicing and whatnot. Joey and the entire long cast of admins that he's got for this series, Joey Gattina, and what they do to put this series on. It's the most fun series that I've been a part of. It's the most competitive series I've been a part of. And even when I'm running mid-pack, we're racing hard, and for the most part, just racing real clean and good. And I enjoy it no matter where I am on the track. The teammates definitely for the way we executed, getting them behind me throughout the beginning of the race, the way we executed on those restarts. Couldn't ask for a better launch than that. Everybody at Transervice and the sponsors, I know I'm forgetting a few. We're still in preseason, so I'll get that list together.
Absolutely.
But
keep going.
No, we're good. But yeah, it's awesome to have these races broadcast. So it's great to what you guys do, and I'm gonna look forward to watching the replays and throughout the season, just watching all the broadcasts and all the work you guys put into hosting us.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. As always, it's good to see you drivers out there. Like I say, y'all put on a awesome show, man, week in and week out. Again, congratulations on putting it in victory lane, Sean Bounty.
Thank you. Woo!
All right. I'll tell you what, get him back down there to the Boomtown. Well, actually, it wasn't in Boomtown, my bad, but he'll move. Well, we got Joey Gattina up here. We talked to Joey here a little bit in practice about what to expect and what to look forward to here. coming in here for this awesome long season. So, Joey, what did you think about that race?
Well, we basically stayed on the bottom, so it was it's like Sean said. I mean, I think everybody in the race did a great job. We had a couple incidents that kind of, one was from bump draft, and I think another driver had some issues getting back in line. But other than that, I mean, everybody's given plenty of room. It was just what it was. It was just stuck on the bottom. The top wouldn't go. So you knew that once the guys were hung out up top, you needed to try to either let them in or they were going to run you tight on the bottom. So, I mean, hell, it was a lot of give and take. And, I think we finished sixth, so it wasn't bad. I mean, but like I said, hopefully this week we'll find some things to make this thing a little better, a little tape or something, and you'll see a little bit better racing come next Monday.
Well, it was an awesome race as always. I can't say enough the patience and the professionalism that we saw out there, by all these drivers. I mean, it was just phenomenal to watch, especially on the plate track. Yeah, a few incidents out there, but that's going to happen. Anything can happen as, we take it off the next week to Daytona, and we kick the season off. Tonight was kind of a little bit of taste of what we're going to see here in this season with this kind of skill set of drivers. I mean, I'm excited about the season to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, thanks to Transervice Logistics Incorporated. This is their first event for us tonight. And you, Joe, OSRN, for coming in and picking up tonight's race. That was awesome because, we really didn't have this thing planned. I said, you know what, let's get this one on. Let's get some preseason action. I'm not able to get points up for some reason, but I almost want to say congratulations to Nick Cohan with his 3 victories. I'm not even sure where Nick finished tonight, but I'm pretty sure it was at the front. He had a pretty large points gap there. So if he won, congratulations, Nick. But anyways, Joe, one quick thing. You mentioned Daytona, and I wanted to bring in Scott Stenzel. He's a longtime Sim500 driver. We're excited. Next Friday night, we're all, as a league, going to get behind our buddy Scott as he'll be in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Race, Daytona International Speedway, driving the number 83 Cott Motorsports Chevrolet, I believe. So, Scott, we definitely thank you so much for everything you do for our league and who you are. And if you want to talk a little bit about what you got going on at Daytona next week, I'm sure everybody'd love to hear it.
Hey, thanks for the warm welcome and great job in the broadcast. It was you made an exciting race out of something that was single file, so good job.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how we did that.
I don't know either, but I guess we threw some things in there, to give you something to talk about. But anyways, yeah, Joey, you're right. I'm racing the Camping World Truck Series race on Friday night. The team is Cott Motorsports. We're guaranteed start, and it's the truck number 83. The sponsor on the truck is E2 Northeast Motorsports. They're a startup cup, or not a cup team, but a startup truck team that's looking to get into the sport at a very aggressive level. So they're trying this out, and we're looking to put together 3 races with them. So we're going to be going back to back to back, and after that, we'll see where it goes. So
nice. Good. It's always good to see it. We talked about Brian Boris Cook, and obviously there, Joe, you know who he is. The social media guy for Joe Gibbs Racing, and it's always good to see real life racers in here and family members and guys been just getting into sport. NASCAR, I've loved it. I'm an old guy there, Scott, so I've been NASCAR way back in the 80s, early 80s watching, so I love it.
Cool. Well, thanks for putting in your time on this and making something great with Joey and his whole team here at Sim500. It's an awesome experience, and I'm glad it's on a Monday night so I can still have the real deal still fit in. So I look forward to competing here quite often this season.
Absolutely. Well, after tonight, though, how did you feel in the car? How did you feel that your chances are going into Daytona next week? Coming in here and filling out the draft package and whatnot. And actually, if you look at this race and compare it to the real, class race that they just did, it pretty much plays out about the same. Y'all were able to get side by side a little bit, but that high line just doesn't work. And just like in the real class, you just saw going pretty much the end of that race, it was who was going to step out of line. And the same thing here. So how do you feel about going into Daytona here?
I think starting position is key, and then track position throughout, maintaining that track position with a little bit of luck. So it's going to be some aggressive pit calls to keep you up there. And if we tune it in a little bit more and get some actual temperature in the motors on the low line, we might be able to get some action on that high line. But you get to win the race, you're going to have to step out. And I just don't know there's a lot of people that are going to take that risk on the last lap. As we saw today, not really anybody did.
And I've done many of the races here at Daytona on the iRacing Sim here, and you're right, it almost mimics. I always say this is the realest thing you can get without going out spending millions or hundreds of thousands and setting yourself inside of one of those real cars. And I've also said this, Scott, many a times. I watch y'all guys get in and out of those windows, and you can forget it. Unless they come up with a convertible, you count me out.
Yeah, they keep making them smaller, it feels like, too. Or I'm just getting bigger. I don't know what the heck it is.
Well, Matt, as always, appreciate you coming up here, and good luck Friday. And since you told me that, I'm going to have to watch now on the Friday night there and check that out, because I always love the trucks running in real life. I love the cup cars. I love just racing, period. But I'll have to check it out, and good luck, man, this Friday.
Thanks. Enjoy the show.
All right, good deal. Enjoy.
Thank you, Scott.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
Just thanking everybody, Scott. I'm excited. I've been pulling for Scott. I've been a fan of Scott's for a long time. Just that's one thing about Sim500. You know, we are a pretty big league and they're going really well. But I'm gonna tell you something. We have 60 or 70 really great people. I mean, I think that's the big attraction of sim racing. It's just the camaraderie and the friendships that you build. And man, I'll tell you what, it's so hard. They talk about my admin team and Chad Cole. We got a bunch of them, and that's just because, I mean, we just have so many daggum good people here, and it's just a blessing to be a part of it.
And I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate you letting me be a part of this. Here, like I say, the OSRN Network, man, online sim racing network. Hey, you're home for fun and exciting sim racing here. Brought this thing to you live here tonight. Sim500 Monday Night Money Series brought to you by Transervice here, Daytona International Speedway. First race, pretty much kind of a preseason style race. And we kick off the season next week for Daytona. Thomas, you got any final words for tonight?
I enjoyed the race. I enjoyed being up in the booth, and glad you allowed me to come up here today for this. And I'm feeling the blood flow ready to go. It's been 3 months, I think, since the season ended for the Cup Series. Racing's back, baby. I'm itching to get back and start racing in these things, and hopefully put my number 25 Chevrolet SS until eventually the Camaro comes out. Put that thing in victory lane, battle for a championship. I'm still trying to figure out how the heck Joey let me back in this thing after no, I'm kidding. But it's gonna be a fun season. I can't wait to have some fun down there on the track, and be nice to put it in victory lane the first week next week. But hey, anytime I'm out there, I'm always having fun.
Absolutely. Well said and well put, and I want to appreciate Joey and the guys here at Sim500 for putting on this awesome league, putting this thing up here tonight. It was awesome. Also want to give a shout out to the title sponsor for OSRN Network, simspeedshop.com. Check them out at simspeedshop.com. If you're looking for a custom button box or just a button box in general or anything for your sim needs, check those guys out at simspeedshop.com. Jason Eisenhower, Adam Eisenhower, and also the title sponsor for the Wednesday night series here at the Sim500, simspeedshop.com. So stay tuned for that as we kick that series off coming in March. We'll talk more about that as the weeks come along. But hey, folks, we're going to leave Daytona here for tonight as these boys here, well, they'll get set next week to kick the season off here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series presented by Transervice here. And as always, folks, I hope you appreciate it, and everyone, have a good night.